What should a person reflect on when fasting? A person may ask, why do Muslims fast for 1 month out of the year? If a person were to ask, why do you fast? What is your answer to that question? It is narrated that Imam Rida alayhi salam said, if it was asked, why were they commanded to fast? Then the answer would be, so that they come to know the pain and hunger and thirst, and infer from that the severity of the poverty of the hereafter. And so that fasting can become an admonishment for them in the short term, and a training for them to fulfill what God has obliged upon them, and a guide for them in the long term. And so that they come to know the severity of what strikes the poor and destitute in this world, so that they give them what God has obliged as alms from their wealth. Imam Rida alayhi salam is telling us to reflect on 3 things as we fast. First, fasting is a reflection on our poverty in relation to God Almighty. Throughout the year, many of us have the means to eat and drink. With the exception of the poor and the destitute, the necessities of life are not a big worry for us. That is why a lot of us take it for granted. We forget to reflect on where these blessings come from. We may even forget that we will be asked about our wealth and how we obtained it in the hereafter. Fasting is a reminder for us that we are all in existential need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His boundless blessings. Secondly, we remind ourselves about the hunger and thirst of those in need. God Almighty tested a portion of humanity with wealth and the other portion with poverty. If the wealthy never experience hunger, they become apathetic. Fasting fosters sympathy for the poor. It allows each of us to experience what they experience. We are encouraged to give them alms and charity during the month of fasting, to act on those sympathies and act as God obligated in helping those less fortunate. Thirdly, fasting is a means of spiritual training. Just as the body needs to be trained to build strength and muscle, the spirit also needs to be trained. During the holy month of Ramadan, we train our spirits to obedience to God's commands. We train ourselves to reject the temptations of this world more easily. At the end of the day, fasting is a form of worship, and worship is a means to grow closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we fast, we should reflect on our relationship with the Almighty and the many blessings He granted us and He grants us every single day. Most importantly, the blessings of life and faith.